Coach, they obviously went on a few pretty big runs there. You guys were able to keep it close there in that second quarter before they pulled away. What did you feel like played the biggest factor in their ability to take control there of that game?
I agree on the runs. I thought there were a couple stretches of the game where we just couldn't seem to string together enough plays offensively or defensively. But I thought, for the majority of the game, we got the game plan in against them, and made them play in a crowd, and made it difficult, for them to get easy stuff. I thought, some of Ingram's shots for sure were contested. Some of the ones he made, we made them pass to the perimeter, which was the plan. There was just stretches where, we went a little dry on offense. They got out on the break and that kind of ignited them. But, I thought both ends of the floor, we did a lot of good things tonight. Just like you said, the stretches of runs for them kind of opened the game up.
John Masato, the Oklahoman.
Mark, how do you think Deck responded after being thrown in there, and especially guarding Zion to start in his first minutes?
Yeah, I mean, pretty impressive, Yeah, I thought Bays was going pretty good early. Typically we look at matching his minutes, but Deck's a big guy, he's a tough guy, and we could have, if that was a problem, then we could have gone back with Bays. But he did a really good job on him. We wanted to kind of see what that looked like after the way Bays started, and he was pretty good. So knows how to play. He tried to go out there, fit into what we were doing. Obviously, he hasn't had a lot of time. We have a practice tomorrow, which I think will be really beneficial for him. But it's the first of 10 games for him here, and he's come in and done exactly what we've asked him to do, and he made a good first impression tonight.
Nick Gallows, under broadcasting.
Mark, the other night you had mentioned that you're kind of on the sideline thinking, how do I get the ball in loose hands more? And there was a moment in the fourth quarter where I think as he was running back up the floor, you kind of just barked a little something at him, and he went and got off a screen and caught a pass. For a young guy like him, what's that like, that process of learning how to take that quick direction and then go and execute it right as he goes up the floor?
Well, what was impressive to me about him tonight was, he obviously had a flurry there in the fourth, but late in the game, he only had 4 points. And I didn't think it was because it was a bad shooting night necessarily. It was more, he was just kind of taking what the game gave him. I thought he was off it early when we ran plays to have him initiate offense. He made the right play and hit the perimeter. They had their best guys on him for much of the night. So obviously he got some of those shots to go late, but I was impressed with kind of how he played his floor game throughout the course of the game. He let the game come to him. He wasn't wrapped up in scoring, and he played a pretty good game, and then obviously down the stretch there, a couple plays could have made it a little dicier than we did, but he kept us kind of in it with the shot making.
Leandro Fernandez, NBA Global.
Coach, following up on Deck, what does it say from a player that into his first minutes in the NBA, he goes right into Zion for his first points and then gets a behind the back assist for another guy?
Well, he can play, and that's why he's here. Our people do a great job of identifying, players, at every level and all around the world. And we try not to put any constraints on that. And then when they come here, we try to do the best we can to put them on a plan that's going to allow them to continue to grow in our environment. And he's no different from that. But it's impressive, and that's kind of our philosophy is, he's here. There's a reason he's here, and we're going to see what he can do. We're not going to put constraints on any player. We're going to assume that they belong here and that they know how to do what they need to do. And I thought he proved that tonight with how he went out there and played.
Ivan Frodkin, De Faja.
Hi, Coach, here from Argentina. During the season, some head coaches say that Nuggets guard Facundo Campazzo was not a real rookie because of his international experience. Do you think that something similar happens with Gabriel Dex, or is it a different situation? Thank you.
I would agree with that. He certainly is not a rookie. He's played a lot of high-level basketball. And that's for sure. There is a learning curve, to the NBA. He got his honorary travel, which I think every, international player gets when they first come over. But, where he is a rookie is, and I don't want to understate this, he's a guy that I think has always dreamt about playing in the NBA. I think that's why he wanted to come here. And it's something that we don't take lightly when a player, is literally realizing a lifelong dream when they put the uniform on. And obviously there's a job to do, and we're focused on the game and what he can do to help the team. But, whether it's him or some of the guys that were rookies earlier in the year, when we put a guy in the game and they get to realize a dream by stepping over that line and checking into the game, that's something that they should be congratulated for. It's really, really hard to make the NBA, no matter where you're from. And Gabby's an example of a person that's literally self-made every step of the way, and certainly deserves this. And we're really, really happy for him and happy that he gets to experience that here.
Federico Rojas, DirecTV Sports.
Hey, Mark, how you doing? Good evening.
Good evening.
You talk about there's a reason about Gabi Deck being on the team. Did you pre-visualize him being on the team? I mean, do you figure his role before he getting into the team? Thank you.
Yep. We've talked about this many times, and it applies to Gabby's situation and Charlie Brown and everybody, that we've kind of integrated in the middle of the season. We have a lot of really hardworking people in our organization that do a lot of good work around the calendar, identifying players and analyzing whether or not they fit our team and our program and where we are. And when, we acquire a player, they give us all that information. There's a vision for every single player, including Gabby. And then once they're here, then it becomes about, seeing what they look like and not making too many assumptions and allowing things to unfold, but pretty quickly, getting a plan in place to figure out, how they can progress as individual players, how they can help the team now and in the future, and ultimately try to increase value for the individual player and for the organization. And so we do that with every single player that steps foot in our program, regardless of whether it's, Charlie Brown on a 10-day or Jalen Horde on a 2-way or Gabi Deck, joining us this late in the season.